कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो अलुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
In the news tonight, USP Vice Chancellor deported. Work on Korosomo slip underway. And $4 million recovery plan approved.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nunn.
Bulabnaka, Fiji. The staff of the University of the South Pacific are looking forward to the council meeting scheduled for tomorrow. USP Staff Union President Elizabeth Reid Fong says the two staff unions on the Laudala campus met today with other staff members and raised concerns over the treatment of Vice Chancellor Professor Paul Ahluwalia. The University of the South Pacific Vice Chancellor Professor Paul Ahluwalia and his wife Sandra Price were this morning deported after the two breached the provisions of Section 13 of the Immigration Act numerous times. The government in a statement says the actions of the Vice Chancellor and his wife have clearly violated the terms of their work permits, resulting in their subsequent deportation.
That's what we're waiting for now, to see what the direction is. The senior management team are currently holding the university together and have been directed by council to manage the university until they make a decision tomorrow.
And Lena Rees joins us live now from USP. Lena, what else can you tell us about the USP saga?
The University of the South Pacific Students Association this afternoon held a press conference. Now, the student leaders have also expressed their concern over the detainment and deportation of the Vice Chancellor. However, the USPSA has also highlighted that they recognize the importance of the key business of the university and hope that it will be business as usual under the leadership of the council and senior management. Now, the USP Council are scheduled to have a meeting tomorrow, and as mentioned earlier, the USP staff will take its direction from the outcomes of this meeting. Edwin.
Nakalina, the Fiji Roads Authority is looking to construct a new bypass at the Korosomo Hill near Senganga. FRA yesterday approached landowners to seek permission to construct the new road beside the current slip site. Eleanor Turangaivu reports.
It's the second major slip to happen on the same stretch of road at Korosomo Hill near Senganga. This time around, the Fiji Roads Authority is seeking to build a replacement road beside the slip.
They came and did a sebu asking that they build a road there. They have taken down our pine trees and they intend to build a road that will make access much more convenient.
Fiji Roads Authority Acting Chief Executive Officer Kamal Prasad confirming to FBC News they have cleared the site and the groundworks continued today.
We're just working on it now on plans to get the thing yesterday they cleared, today doing survey and design. Tomorrow we should be running there full swing.
The major slip runs for almost 160 meters on Korosomo Hill along Cross Island Road, which connects Lambasa to Savu-Savu and Nambowalu. For the time being, while the road is closed, an alternative route is being used by cars and buses.
For us, if we want to go to Lambasa, we will walk kilometers this way to Korobo to catch the bus to Lambasa, because this road is closed and no vehicle comes this way.
Motorists intending to use this alternative route should be ready for a longer travel time. You will be traveling for almost 30 kilometers with almost triple the travel time that it normally takes from here, Tambia, to Senganga. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
The Registrar of Political Parties has referred the Social Democratic Liberal Party to the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption for breaches of the Political Parties Act. Registrar Muhammad Saneem said in a statement today that last November he began the verification process for SODELPA disclosures. Then on December 3rd, the registrar wrote to the party informing them that they had discovered various discrepancies from 2015 to 2019. The particulars of the discrepancies were forwarded to the party, and SODELPA provided written responses to the registrar on the 18th and 25th of last month. Saneem says after perusing the responses and scrutinizing the legal provisions related to the disclosures and maintenance of finances, he's referred the party to FICAC for breaching the Political Parties Act. He says the reasons which constitute breaches of the Act include the failure to particularize the exact sources of funds received. The damage bill from tropical cyclone Yasa that razed farms and crops stands at around $147 million. Permanent Secretary for Agriculture Ritesh Das says the figure is based on the damage assessment report compiled by officers on the ground. Kritika Kumar reports.
The Agriculture Ministry confirms that 25,000 households were impacted by TC Yasa, of which 3,000 were completely dependent on agriculture.
Got us that information in terms of, which households do we target in terms of, their vulnerability. So that's been mapped out, and our recovery activities, will be commenced, very soon as the situation allows.
Thus adds the impact of food security will be temporary, and this is expected after any pandemic or disaster.
We believe that in terms of food security, given our climate and the availability of different varieties of crops that we have, we can address this the issue around food security in a rather short period of time.
The Agriculture Minister has confirmed that the Northern Division sustained major damage from TC Yasa.
TC Yasa, we provided a lot of assistance from waterways as well as agriculture in the Northern Division. We have done a lot of emergency drainage.
Most of the farming communities in the Northern Division were still reeling from the impact of TC Yasa when they were struck by TC Ana over the weekend. TC Ana caused widespread flooding in the Northern Division, and the Ministry of Agriculture is now conducting another damage assessment. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Cabinet has approved a crop rehabilitation and recovery plan worth more than $4 million for cane farmers in Vanuatu whose farms were affected by tropical cyclone Yasa. The plan will be funded from the Ministry of Sugar Industries 2020-2021 approved budget. Permanent Secretary for Sugar Yogesh Karan says under the plan there will be 5 main activities. These include the supply of 34,236 bags of blend seed fertilizer, the supply of 26,104 litres of anime and 26,104 kgs of durian weedicide, and also the provision of 50 hectares of slashing to assist farmers with slashing damaged crops. Karan has the drainage work for 195,213 metres of infield drainage and replanting of crops, which will be done in 2 stages, are also part of the plan. He goes on to say that under the replanting activity, the first stage will begin from next month to October, and the second will be from August to October. Fiji recorded 825 deaths in 2020 due to cancer. This has been revealed as Fiji celebrates World Cancer Day today. Last year, the country had 1,487 new cases, and in the last 5 years, Fiji recorded 3,776 cases of cancer in both men and women. A report by the World Health Organization says in 2020, Fiji had 302 new breast cancer cases, 198 prostate cancer cases, and 136 cervix cancer cases. There were 85 colorectal cancers and 75 liver and 691 other types of cancer cases recorded. 595 males and 892 women were among the new cancer cases. And we now join Apanisa Wangairandovu live with the Fiji Cancer Society Chief Executive Belinda Chan. Apanisa, what is the main factor contributing to the increase in cancer cases?
Yes, Edwin, given the high number of Fijians dying each year from cancer, the Ministry of Health has stated that 825 alone for last year is a call for concern. The Minister for Health, Dr. Ifremi Wangai-Nambete, has in numerous occasions stated that one of the main reasons why people are dying or getting to the last stage of cancer is because of late presentation. An organization like the Fiji Cancer Society says that some of the many reasons why people are presenting themselves late to health centers and for clinic is that many of these Fijians are not aware of the signs and symptoms of cancer, and that is why they are presenting themselves late to clinics. Also, another reason why people are dying from cancer is because many are still resorting to herbal treatment, which is a cause for concern, as this has been occurring or happening in Fiji for many, many years. And as well, people are not attending to their clinics, and this is why many people are still dying or maybe having to present themselves late because of this. Edwin.
Minaka Panisa. Up ahead, police pursue murder investigation. And student safety a priority.
मैं टोटली दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Education is prioritizing the sanitation of schools used as evacuation centers to ensure students' safety when school resumes on Monday. Minister Rosie Akbar says they are working with teams from the Ministry of Health in cleaning up classrooms and will also put relevant health protocols in place. Jeshulal reports.
School managements are encouraged to play an active role and put proper health measures in place to safeguard students' health.
Schools that were used as evacuation centers are currently being disinfected by the Ministry of Health officials. So hopefully come Monday, or not Monday, by the end of this week, we will be able to get a report of the cleaning up that has been done, the Ministry of Health process of disinfecting the school, all that. The responsibility tasked to the school managements and school heads to ensure that these measures are put in place.
The Health Minister says it is critical to ensure proper sanitations are done in schools affected by flood as well to eliminate any chance of disease outbreak.
We are one of the ministries that are working with the Ministry of Education around making sure that these evacuation centers are ready to be utilized in schools. So as I said, we are one of the ministries in the evacuation centers. There are many ministries that are working together.
With classes beginning next week, the Education Ministry says students affected by TC Ana are not under any pressure to return to school. Jeshulal, FBC News.
The investigation into the death of a couple in Singatoka is being pursued as a murder. Police confirmed the Director of Criminal Investigations is overseeing the investigation. Investigators continued gathering information and statements to ascertain the circumstances surrounding the incident. Police are requesting members of the public to call Crime Stoppers on 919 if they have any information that could help. Sesha Reddy and his wife Mirdu Chandra were found dead in their home next to Lawai village in Singatoka on Tuesday. Prime Minister Vorengen Bainimarama has welcomed former Prime Minister of the Cook Islands Henry Puna's appointment as the new Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum. In his congratulatory tweet, Bainimarama highlighted that Puna has Fiji's unwavering support as the new SG. Bainimarama says he has known Puna as a fellow champ for the fight against climate change and more recently as a strong voice for the revival of tourism in the Pacific. He adds it is a time for unity and collective action, and the forum will continue to be a place where leaders strengthen bonds and develop strategies for development, peace and prosperity. The Prime Minister says he trusts that Puna will be a tireless advocate for our people and a positive force for regional unity. Puna will be replacing Dame Meg Taylor, who has served in the role for over 6 years. The request by Lautoka market vendors to waive their stall fees following TC Ana was denied by local government minister. The minister also received issues raised by vendors who are not part of the Lautoka Market Association during her tour of the Sugar City today. Details with Felipe Naikaso.
Vendors at the Lautoka market had the opportunity to raise issues directly with the minister.
Issues of reduction of stall fees, she has made it clear for Lautoka market, and the association is well aware of it, that for Lautoka we will stay the same. Apart from the other markets, Lautoka is not affected by anything, but except the COVID-19, maybe the first lockdown.
See, Lautoka is not affected. It's not affected by cyclone, and it's not affected by flooding either. And you know, most of their vegetables, it comes from Singatoka.
Ventilation, stall fees and the building structure were some of the issues raised by the Lautoka vendors. The minister also toured the Rekreki, Tavoa and Ba markets, assessing the damage left behind by TC Ana.
Flood was reported, and we've seen the pictures of most markets underwater. So I decided to visit these places, meet the vendors, and see how we can assist them.
The Lautoka market has more than 1,000 vendors that come as far as Navosa and Wanimbuka. The minister also stated that tours to the west will be on a regular basis, with a number of issues yet to be ironed out at a few municipalities. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
And now to tell us more about the minister's tour, we join Felipe live. Felipe, what else was noted by the minister during her tour?
Well, Ed, the minister has been in the Western Division since yesterday, and she toured 3 markets that have been affected by Tropical Cyclone Ana. And according to Pramila Kumar, Bar Market was the worst affected. Majority of vendors had lost their produce, while others had suffered significant damage to their stall as floodwaters entered the Bar Market area. Now, these vendors have also asked Pramila Kumar if their stall fees could be waived for now. The minister stated that the stall fees can be waived. However, it will only be applicable to those vendors that are selling either vegetables, fruits or root crops. The other vendors at the Bar Market will have to continue paying their dues. Also, the Bar Town Council had to fork out around $10,000 in the past 3 days to clean up the Bar Market area and also fix up a few minor problems at the market. According to the minister, this is also expected to increase over the next few weeks. Edwin.
Minaka Felipe. Social media giant Facebook and Save the Children's Fiji have launched an online safety campaign targeting young users. Local agencies are concerned about content that's available to Fijians, and Minister for Children, Merseni Vuniwanga, says parents should check their children's internet behavior. Facebook is the most widely used social media platform in Fiji, but does not have a physical presence here or anywhere else in the South Pacific.
There aren't any Facebook employees in Suva, yet almost every Fijian is on Facebook.
Check children's internet surfing history frequently and consistently. Go a step further and search online for free solutions to filter what our children can access on the internet at home.
The new campaign, designed with input from all agencies and young Fijians, will try and teach youth about their online presence.
The campaign, therefore, is child-friendly and is a timely intervention that will inform and educate children and young people on online safety.
The wider impact of social media and the internet is not lost on authorities here, and seeking redress isn't easy either.
Children and youth can access pornography, including violent pornography, before their first sexual experience. And this may be their only or primary source of information.
And the existing tools at our disposal make it difficult to ensure that social media users from different backgrounds and especially different languages are protected.
The Online Safety Commission says it receives troubling reports almost every day, adding some of them are quite gruesome. And Whitney is here now for tonight's business report.
Thanks, Edwin. Coming up in business tonight, businesses struggle to make sale. And data assistance will benefit schools. Stay with us.
कुमार साहब ने नाइक है गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन
Businesses in the capital have noticed a significant drop in sales as Fijians are diverting their finances towards essential items following the recent cyclones. Business owners say they were recording average sales since the beginning of the year. However, this dropped after Tropical Cyclone Ana. Dipesh Kumar reports.
Most of these businesses were struggling from the impact of COVID-19, and this has been made worse by the recent cyclones.
Business for now is very slow. And due to the COVID, we have affected a lot, and now due to the cyclone, it's affecting.
And we have been very excited, it was a very good response last 2 weeks ago because there was no sign of cyclone. But this week has been quite weak, starting from last week, of course.
They are now stocking up necessary items such as school supplies, hoping they will earn a few bucks as students will return to school next week.
During COVID, we could feel the business going down, and compared to now, it's getting back to normal. And of course, even though we went through this cyclone disaster,
the shop is ready with the product and ready to serve.
Businesses are hopeful that sales will soon pick up so they can meet their weekly targets. Dipesh Kumar, FBC News.
Vodafone's organic service revenue returned to growth in the mobile phone company's third quarter, with a rise of 0.4%, soundly beating analyst expectations of a fall of 0.1% and blustering confidence in the group's outlook. This growth was recorded over the last 3 months of 2020. We now join Sharon from HFC Bank with the latest from the money market.
Good evening. Australia posted a trade surplus of $6.8 billion in December, according to their stats released today. The exports rose 3%, while imports were down 2% in December. The Reserve Bank of Australia will update its economic forecast tomorrow, which could determine whether the Aussie dollar continues to rise. In New Zealand, business sentiment improved in February, with investment and employment intentions rising. Meanwhile, the American dollar has been trading against the euro and the Japanese yen near its highest level in more than 2 months, as the money market becomes more optimistic about the US economic outlook. Sentiment for the greenback improved off the back of a chance of more fiscal stimulus, progress in vaccine distribution, and improving economic data. Tomorrow, the Bank of England will announce its interest rate decision. Although traders are not expecting any change, the markets will watch closely to gauge the likelihood of negative interest rates. And that's it from me for now. See you tomorrow.
Here are the local exchange rates as set early this morning. The Fiji dollar showed gains against the Chinese yuan, US greenback, PNG kina, euro and the Japanese yen, but it lost ground against the Aussie and Kiwi dollars. Prices were mixed on the commodities market. Oil prices rose to close at $56 a barrel. Gold was down a few dollars, closing at $1,826 per ounce, and silver closed down at $26.64 an ounce. Telecom Fiji Limited will be assisting 20 schools in the Northern Division with internet services for this year. These are the schools which were severely affected by tropical cyclones Yasa and Ana in the past month. This will greatly benefit these affected schools, as most have suffered major damage due to the frequent cyclones. TFL Chief Executive Charles Gounder says the increasing frequency of cyclones show the need to build schools to be resilient enough to withstand the toughest of cyclones. And that's it from Business Tonight. We now join Venina with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Whitney. Good evening. Ahead in sports tonight, former Fiji Warriors speedster targets 7th. And Minister reassures school athletes. This and more after the break.
हमारे सामने नायक है गोंगवा लिबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में
Former Fiji Warriors winger Tira Welangi has expressed interest in playing sevens after featuring for the Fire Wardens in a few local sevens tournaments. Welangi is one of the young but experienced players after having played for the national junior side as well as for Namosi in the Skipper Cup. The Kambara Lau lad will feature this weekend at the Uprising Sevens tournament. Plans are in the pipeline for the lanky winger.
I have plans to further my career in the sport, if not in 15s, then in 7s. But for that I have personal goals to achieve and I'm working towards it through competing in these local tournaments.
After his contract with San Diego Legion ended, the 22-year-old knows it is not the end of the road.
Participating in the 7s tournament will be a way for me to expose and upskill my talent. I want to improve and hope another door opens.
Most of the regular players will not feature at the Uprising Sevens this weekend due to rehabilitation works for TC Ana. However, this will not deter the side from giving their best.
From that, we've managed to put in some training days and training hours, which so far has been very positive. And we've trying to build up from where we left off during the series.
Fires pulled with Uluinakau, Ngaukadau Knights and Tamadamu. A new look Lamy Cavaliers side will feature in the Mobile Uprising Sevens tomorrow. The team management is thankful to the organizers for selecting them as one of the 16 teams. As Aquila Dhama reports, one of the youngsters in the team can't wait to play against the best in the country.
About 75% of these players will feature in a major tournament for the first time.
Some of these players, I think they never receive any tackle from the old boys, from the old players. They never tackle the old players. They are looking forward to tackle some old players, to put them down and try to beat them.
One of the players is former Natambua High School sprinter in 2019 Coca-Cola Games silver medalist Nemani Mundrelangi.
Looking forward for play against some of the Fiji Sevens players.
He's working hard and still some more to go. Maybe a few more weeks or a few more months, he'll pick up with the standard and the level of sevens.
The young Cavaliers team will find it tough in their pool because they have seasoned teams like Wardens, Ratu Felice and Army.
Looking forward for the tournament because it's a big tournament. Big teams will come and it will be a tough competition for the boys.
The Cavaliers will play Ratu Felice in its first match at 9:51 a.m. tomorrow. Aquila Dhama, FBC Sports.
The Seahawks Rugby Club is concerned with the fitness level of its players heading into the Mobile Uprising Sevens tournament tomorrow. After a disappointing 19-7 loss to Mount Carmel in the semi-final of the Super 7 series, head coach Eleanor Kunatumba says their current fitness level will hinder their performance this weekend. Caroline Tavi reports.
Seahawks will need to up the ante in the Uprising Sevens tournament to maintain their place as one of the top women's team in the country.
Well, after the Super Series, everybody spoke about the team's fitness because like everybody was in the festive mood, and then we had to regather and then came down and tried to train as hard as we can. But
majority of the players in the Seahawks side are first-timers and are still getting a feel of the sport.
But for us now, just getting into the Uprising and playing against other clubs, for us it's a game experience and game exposure for us, and most of our players are new to the code.
For Matilita Tuilevuka, who has been playing Australian Football League for more than 6 years, sevens is a whole new ball game altogether.
With AFL, the rules is different from rugby, so I don't know much about the rugby rules, so I'm still in the process of learning.
Seahawks will play Striders in its first pool match at the Uprising Sports Centre tomorrow. Carleni Tavi, FBC Sports.
The Education Minister has given her assurance that school sporting activities will go ahead this year. The school sporting associations are hoping they will receive a formal confirmation so schools will be able to have time to prepare for the various national meets. Tale Matarakula reports.
He goes in front of
the minister has reiterated that all sporting events have been given the green light.
The normal activities planned for the ministry will continue, and students and parents and organizers are looking forward to the sporting activities, and we will allow that to go.
However, there are also downsides to staging the games this year.
I think that there's a lot of setback because of the parents that have been laid off, and currently we've been facing a lot of cyclones. This is something that I'm sure will encourage the nation to get back on its feet.
Athletics Fiji Development Officer Antonio Rambualiku believes this will be beneficial for students who wish to pursue a career in sports.
And I think, for the government allowing us to, again, giving the green light for us to participate into this year's sports, I believe that, it will really help not only students in their everyday life, but for those that have the talents to go abroad and maybe finish they further their education and maybe get a career in life from sports itself.
Schools competitions expected to be held this year includes the Fiji Secondary Schools Dean's Trophy, Rugby League, Coca-Cola Games, basketball and netball, as well as other primary school meets. Tale Materkula, FBC Sports.
Former dual international Israel Folau will not return to the NRL. The Fiji Chess Federation is organizing Rapid Chess Championship at the University of Fiji in Lautoka, aimed at reviving the game in the Western Division. General Secretary Guru Arvind says this is a positive move by the Federation, as 75% of their national players are based in Suva. The championship will feature a handful of elite players from the Western Division like Noel Andrikula, Mukesh Paranthaman, Avinesh Nadan and Prashil Prakash. Arvind says the tournament is also expected to attract a number of participants from Ba, Nandi and Lautoka. Leicester has strengthened its position in the Premier League's top four with a 2-0 victory over Fulham. Fulham's loss is a blow that slims their chances of survival. A goal by Kelechi Iheanacho in the 17th minute and James Justin in the 44th secured the win for the Foxes. In play of the day, Stephen Curry was on fire for the Golden State Warriors on Saturday night, scoring 28 points, knocking down 6 three-pointers. This gave the Warriors an early lead on the way to a 118-91 rout of the Detroit Pistons on Saturday night at Chancellor Center. That's it from sports tonight. In new media, a new law, if approved, will force internet giants to pay for content. This and more after the break.
कुमार साहब ने नाइक है गोंगवा लेबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Welcome back. In new media, Microsoft has thrown its support behind Australia's proposed media laws that would force internet giants to pay media outlets for their content. A heavy rain alert is in effect for Vanuatu and Taveuni. Low pressure to the north of Fiji is expected to bring rain to most parts of the country over the next few days. In the west, sunshine and cloudy periods marked the weather. From Pacific Harbour to Suva, there was a mixture of sun and showers throughout the day. And in the north, mainly cloudy skies and rain. At sea, northwest winds are at 15 to 20 knots, generating moderate swells. Turning to the tides, the next high tide is at 8 minutes after midnight, followed by low tide at 6:16 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 5:54. The outlook for tomorrow is for cloudy skies and showers with a chance of thunderstorms. A heavy rain alert remains in effect for Vanuatu, Taveuni and nearby smaller islands. The outlook for Saturday is occasional rain with a chance of thunderstorms. In Fijian Pulse, we ask, should the school uniform be scrapped for this year?
I think maybe for a year it would be a good idea to just scrap out the uniforms, just come with whatever you have on.
I think it will be wise to give them options because many parents are facing financial hardships.
In my opinion, students should still have to wear uniform because already we have children who are not reaching school and are roaming in town.
I think school uniform should not be compulsory this year because calling back to what parents are facing during this COVID-19 pandemic, they might be facing financial crisis.
And recapping our main stories, USP Vice Chancellor deported, work on Korosomo slip underway, and $4 million recovery plan approved. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we are asking, should those found swimming in flooded areas be prosecuted? Visit our FBC News website to answer. And on to our shot of the day. This is a beautiful morning shot of the famous Wailoaloa beach in Nandi, sent in by Spencer Nigel Robinson. You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our various social media accounts, including Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. That's your news this evening. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Modemanda.
हमारे सामने नायक है गोंगवा लिबू लटो का रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे, हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।